Let me tell you a story. With the new Demon Slayer movie on the horizon, I want to share the tale of a boy whose evolution from tragedy to triumph became one of anime's most profound character journeys. This isn't just about power-ups and epic battles, this is about the human spirit itself. Hit that like button if stories like this resonate with you, and we're almost at 2,000 subscribers. Thank you for being part of this journey. Our story begins on a snow-covered mountain where a young charcoal seller named Tanjiro Kamado lived a simple life. Picture this. A gentle boy who worried more about feeding his family than anything else, whose biggest challenge was carrying charcoal down treacherous mountain paths without falling. Life was hard but peaceful, filled with the warmth of family laughter and the satisfaction of honest work. Then, in one horrific night, everything changed. Tanjiro returned home to find a scene from his worst nightmares, his entire family slaughtered, their blood painting the snow crimson. But here's where our story takes an unexpected turn. Instead of the typical revenge-driven hero's journey, Tanjiro made a choice that would define his entire character. He chose hope over hatred. His sister Nezuko had survived, but she'd been transformed into the very thing that destroyed their family, a demon. Most people would see a monster. Tanjiro saw his beloved sister trapped inside. So he did something extraordinary. He strapped her to his back and began a journey that would reshape not just his destiny, but his very soul. Enter Sakonji Urokodaki, the enigmatic former Hashira with his red Tengu mask and questionable training methods. For 2 grueling years, this old master put Tanjiro through hell, and I mean that almost literally. Imagine having to relearn how to breathe properly while dodging deadly traps that would make a medieval torture chamber seem friendly. "Your breathing is all wrong," Urokodaki would say, as Tanjiro got launched into another tree. It sounds almost comical, but breathing became Tanjiro's foundation not just for combat, but for maintaining his humanity in a world determined to strip it away. The boulder became his greatest nemesis. Day after day, month after month, Tanjiro would swing his sword at this massive rock, trying to cut through stone with steel and determination. It was like watching someone try to argue with a brick wall, futile, frustrating, but somehow beautiful in its persistence. Then came the breakthrough. With the guidance of spirits, Sabito and Makomo, fellow students who died pursuing the same dream, Tanjiro finally sliced through that stubborn boulder. But here's the beautiful part. He didn't just cut stone. He cut through his own limitations, his doubts, his fears. The final selection was Tanjiro's first real test, 7 days in a forest crawling with demons, where survival meant more than just staying alive. It meant maintaining your soul while doing what was necessary. When Tanjiro encountered the Hand Demon, the monster who'd killed his ghostly mentors, something remarkable happened. Instead of pure vengeance, he offered compassion. "I understand your pain," he told this child-eating nightmare, "but this has to end." Even his enemies found peace in his presence. I mean, imagine being so genuinely kind that you accidentally become a grief counselor for supernatural serial killers. Then, fate brought him 2 companions who would change everything. Zenitsu, a walking anxiety attack, who somehow became a lightning god when unconscious, and Inosuke, basically a feral child raised by boars who thought shirts were optional and subtlety was a foreign concept. Most protagonists would see these 2 as burdens. Tanjiro saw family. He looked at Zenitsu's self-loathing and said, "I believe in you." He watched Inosuke's aggressive confusion and thought, "This one needs guidance." Suddenly, our charcoal boy had become a surrogate father to 2 disaster magnets. Mount Natagumo marked a turning point in our story. Facing Rui, the spider demon of the lower 5, Tanjiro discovered something that would change everything. Hinokami Kagura, the dance of the fire god. It wasn't just a new technique, it was ancestral memory awakening. Generations of strength flowing through him. Imagine finding out your family's traditional dance was actually an ancient martial art capable of incinerating demons. That's basically what happened to Tanjiro, except instead of a fun party trick, it became his path to power. The Mugen Train brought our hero face to face with Kyojuro Rengoku, the flame Hashira whose enthusiasm burned brighter than his actual flames. Under Rengoku's wing, Tanjiro learned what it meant to be truly strong, not just physically, but morally, spiritually. But stories of growth often require loss, and Akaza's arrival shattered something in Tanjiro's heart. Watching Rengoku die, this pillar of strength and positivity, awakened something dark in our gentle hero. For the first time, Tanjiro felt genuine hatred, raw and consuming. The Entertainment District arc showed us a Tanjiro learning subtlety, or at least trying to. Watching him attempt to go undercover as a geisha was like watching a golden retriever try to be stealthy, endearing, obvious, but somehow effective. Fighting alongside Tenjin against Daki and Gyutaro, Tanjiro demonstrated something remarkable. He could be utterly ruthless in battle while maintaining his essential compassion. He wasn't just trying to win, he was trying to free these demons from their suffering. As our story reaches its climax, we find Tanjiro facing two upper moons in the swordsmith village. His blade glowed red with righteous fury, his vision expanded to see the transparent world of connections between all living things. He'd become something beyond human, yet paradoxically, more human than ever. The Hashira training showed us Tanjiro learning from masters, each representing different approaches to strength. But here's what made him special. He absorbed every lesson while never losing himself. He became a synthesis of all their wisdom, filtered through his own unshakable moral core. Against Akaza in the Infinity Castle, Tanjiro achieved something extraordinary, the selfless state. He became so pure of intent that he had no fighting spirit for enemies to detect. He'd achieved a zen-like clarity that made him nearly invisible to malice itself. Then came Muzan, the Demon King himself, the source of all supernatural evil in their world. This wasn't just a battle between good and evil, it was a test of everything Tanjiro had become. His Hinokami Kagura burned with ancestral fury, his techniques flowed like water and blazed like fire, his heart remained unbroken despite facing ultimate darkness. But the story's cruelest twist came when Muzan, in his dying moments, tried to corrupt Tanjiro himself. For a terrifying moment, our gentle hero became the very thing he'd spent years fighting. The boy who'd shown compassion to countless demons was transformed into the new Demon King. Yet, even here, the bonds he'd forged proved stronger than supernatural corruption. His friends, Zenitsu, Inosuke, all the lives he'd touched, they refused to give up on him. Just as he'd never given up on Nezuko, they never gave up on him. This is why Tanjiro's story matters. In a world that often tells us trauma must harden us, that strength requires callousness, he proved the opposite. He showed us that the greatest strength comes from keeping your heart open despite the pain, from choosing compassion even when it's difficult, from believing in others even when they can't believe in themselves. His evolution wasn't just about becoming powerful, it was about becoming more human, more connected, more himself. He taught us that resilience isn't about becoming unbreakable, it's about breaking and healing again and again while never losing your essential goodness. With the new movie approaching, I'm excited to see where Tanjiro's story goes next. What moments from his journey touched you most deeply? Share your thoughts below these stories live in our conversations about them. If this tale moved you, that like button helps more people discover these deeper stories within our favorite anime. And subscribing means you'll be here for every story we explore together. Remember, we all have our own mountains to climb, our own boulders to cut through, our own demons to face. Tanjiro's story reminds us that we don't have to face them alone, and we don't have to become cold to become strong. That's the real magic of Tanjiro Kamado's evolution, and perhaps the key to our own.